No School by Mora. About the author. Tony Mora is an educator for the Los Angeles Unified School District. He is currently the magnet coordinator and intervention instructor at Hubbard Street Elementary School for Advanced Studies and STEAM Magnet Center. Mr. Mora has taught all elementary grades, but most recently, he taught the 5th grade GATE essayist cluster, Gifted and Talented Education, School for Advanced Studies. He grew up in the San Fernando Valley, making Pacoima, Fillmore, and San Fernando his home. He currently lives in Santa Clarita, California, where he enjoys family time and walking his Siberian Husky dog, Chloe. No School. Once there was a boy who had a best friend. He and his best friend were in the same class. They sat next to each other and ate lunch at the same table. They liked to play hopscotch and sit in the shade of the tallest tree at school. One day, while learning about mixtures during a science lesson, one of the students whispered that schools were going to close. The boy looked at his best friend for answers, but she didn't know about it. The teacher gave the students their materials, and they began their experiments. During lunch, all the students were buzzing with excitement. "No school!" they shouted repeatedly. But the boy and his best friend didn't share their excitement. If school closed, they would no longer be together. They were sad. She patted him gently on the back, but his eyes were low. Later that day, after finishing her homework, she tried enjoying her favorite meal with her family, but she was worried. What if her school closed? How would she see her best friend, her teacher, and classmates? She was sad. The boy completed his homework. Then he helped set the table for dinner. After eating dinner with his family, the boy tried reading his favorite book, but was worried. What if his school closed? How would he see his best friend, his teacher, and classmates? He was sad. The next day was Friday the 13th. Oh no! What luck! The students were sharing ideas on what would make the best class pet. The boy and girl were too worried to think of a pet. What if school closed? The teacher spoke to the students, but it was different than before. She looked worried and a bit sad. She told them that school would be closing and that everyone needed to stay home. She handed out schoolwork for the students. Some kids were happy and shouted, "No school!" But not the boy and girl. The students began to wonder, who will help me when I don't understand something? They began to worry, who will tell me that I'm getting better at reading or math? They all shouted, "No school! Oh no!" The boy gently patted his best friend, but her eyes were low. The principal and teachers were worried. They needed to do something. They couldn't meet at school, just like the students. They emailed, texted, called, and video chatted. "We must support our students and parents," they exclaimed. The students and their parents were doing what they could during the school closure. They worked on the student packet that their teacher gave to them. They read, played at home, and talked with their parents. But just like the boy and girl, students began to miss each other and their teacher. Then one day, the little boy and his parents received a message. It was his teacher on the computer. There she was, like at school, but different. The teacher explained that they would be learning in a new way. She called it distance or virtual learning. All of the students received the same message from their teacher. The teachers planned for this new way of learning. Then one day, after the students' parents helped to create login accounts and passwords, distance learning began. It was different, and it took a little getting used to, but the students were back together, learning with their teacher. The boy and the girl remained best friends. With the help of their parents and teacher, they were able to meet virtually. They video chatted and said hello to each other during distance learning. They shared pictures and laughed, but both agreed that the best one of all was a picture taken by their parents on the first day of school. To be continued.